This episode of Alanizing is sponsored by Anchor. If you haven't heard of Anchor, is the easiest way to make a podcast. Is a podcast app, basically. But what are the perks to it, guys? It's free. There's creation tools that will allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other sites that you listen to your podcast. You can make money from your podcast. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place, so I recommend getting it even to listening to other podcasts. Let's get on with the episode. What it is, guys, your boy Alan from Analyzing. Today got different. So the NFL draft is going on right now. It's the second round, but yesterday was the first round, obviously. It's perfect time to go over the NFL off season with my boy Jazael. What up, Jazael?
What up? Appreciate you having me again.
For sure, man. For sure. You know, we some NFL gurus. We know what's going on. So we're gonna talk about the draft, free agency, and this crazy stuff that happened during the off season. So first, we're gonna start off with the draft. Yesterday was pretty big. A.J. Brown, former receiver for the Titans, he got traded to the Eagles. The Eagles gave up an 18th and the 101 overall pick, which is a third round pick. And they gave him a 4-year, $100 million contract, which is like $25 million a year, that the Eagles gave A.J. Brown. What do you think of this trade, Giselle?
I mean, to start off, I feel like the Titans, when they make this trade, I feel like I don't think it's gonna benefit them like a lot, because AJ Brown was literally their star receiver. Like, I feel like I don't want to call out any Titans fans or like upset them, but I feel like I'm kind of like looking at the Titans and saying like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, even there was a video roaming around the internet where Mike Rabel, he was kind of like shaking his head, and he got up sweating on his seat because he didn't really want to make the trade. But I guess it was the peer pressure that got to him. That I feel like if you draft better receivers out of the draft, you build more of a better team. But I feel like trading your star receiver as AJ Brown, because he was like the only one carrying the Titans. Or no, you have Derrick Henry, but still, I feel like in the receiver core, you really have no one to really help you. And trading AJ Brown I feel like that was kind of bad for me personally. It was kind of weird, and it was kind of bad for the Titans.
I mean, I agree with you on some points. Like, the Titans did have a plan. Like, you're saying, oh, like, what are the Titans doing? And to a certain extent, like, I see you on that. But they drafted a receiver with that pick. They drafted a Treylon Burks and the dude from Arkansas. Obviously, we don't know if he's going to be as good as A.J. Brown. But, I mean, like you said, I think Vrabel was pressured to do this. Like, they didn't want to give him that $100 million contract like the Eagles did over here. But I think it's a pretty good move for the Eagles. Pretty good move for them.
Yep.
And also, like, it's going to be a great pair with Davante Smith. You know, think about that pair. Davante Smith and A.J. Brown. Now, Jalen Hurts not the best quarterback, and I don't believe that much in him. But it's kind of a pressure year for him now. Now he's got to actually do good. And if he doesn't, he's going to get out of there, bruh. He's going out.
Yeah, I feel like the Eagles do have like two of the best receivers in terms of like their team. But I feel like Jalen Hurts, he just got to get the ball. Like, I feel like Jalen Hurts is better than most quarterbacks right now. And I feel like he can get to that top tier. But I feel like he just gotta, get more experience, because I know he was gonna hurt for like a little bit of the season. But I feel like if he just, gets more practice in, he's gonna throw some dimes at AJ Brown and Davante Smith.
No, pretty much that. Another big thing from the draft was Marquise Brown from the Ravens got traded to the Cardinals for the 23rd overall pick, which the Ravens selected at 25th, which they got Iowa center Limbrum, and also they got Kyle Hamilton at 14. What do you think about this trade, though, Jess?
For the Hollywood Brown, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for Hollywood Brown, I feel like I saw this coming. I saw that there was like, I feel like the Ravens didn't really have that much firepower in Hollywood Brown. I feel like Hollywood Brown. I just want to say no, like offensive to any like Ravens fans, but I feel like he's kind of washed. He didn't really do anything really that much in this in last season with the Ravens, but that was because Lamar Jackson can't really throw. But I feel like Mark Andrews kind of outplayed him. But I feel like Hollywood Brown going to the Cardinals, I feel that's good in terms of like, for the Cardinals, because they're like a good Super Bowl contender team. Even like last year, they lost like terribly bad. But I feel like adding Hollywood Brown could just give him some more speed. And I think Kyler Murray could, I hope Kyler Murray could, do better in the playoffs next season. Because I still feel like the Cardinals are going to get into the playoffs, no doubt. But I feel like Hollywood Brown, I think this is good for him. And I think this is good for the Ravens just to pick up more younger and better receivers overall.
Oh, I agree with you on that. For the Ravens' perspective, like you said, I agree with you on that also. I don't think I wouldn't say washed. I wouldn't use that specific term, but I would use he was never that good in the first place. So he could have never really been washed. If for me, he'd never been that good in the first place. But I think it's great. Yep. They don't have to pay him a lot. Giving him away to the Cardinals, they don't have to pay him, and they're not even they're a run-based team first, like you said. Lamar, he can't even throw the ball half the time. He runs all the time, so that's good for them. Now they could focus on their run-oriented offense without worrying about Marquise complaining, like his cousin AB, always complaining about targets and everything. Mm-hmm. And then for the Cardinals. You said it was good for the Cardinals, right? Like you think it's actually good for them?
I think it's good. Just adding another receiver.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's the best deal for them because they technically traded a first round pick to get Marquise.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I'd say it was 23rd overall pick.
Ooh,
so it's technically a first round. No, first round. It was 23rd overall pick.
Yeah, then I just heard it wrong, my bad. But yeah. I don't know. I don't feel like he's worth the first rounder. Probably like at least a second rounder, or even a third. But yeah, first rounder, no.
See, it's not
I agree with that.
Too much. I think that's what I'm saying. Too much for Marquise Brown. And I mean, they get another receiver, right? The Cardinals, like you said, and that could add to their offense. But for a first round pick, that's too high. That's too high.
Yeah.
Wait, let's see what happens. In the draft, also, they got obviously the normal picks. But the first pick, the Jaguars got Trayvon Walker, linebacker from Georgia. A lot of people are surprised, supposedly, because he wasn't supposed to be. Like, his name got into the first round pick discussion like a few days ago. And so people are very much surprised that he got chosen first overall. I don't really agree with him. I've seen his tape. His tape doesn't stand out to me as much. He did some few good things at Georgia. But that front line of Georgia was stacked, and it was all right. Do you have any comments on this move?
Honestly, like I don't really know much about the player too. But all I can really say is I kind of just agree with you. And I feel like it kind of was a iffy move. That's kind of really what I have. I just don't really know the player. That's why, so can't really speak on it.
So that's why I'm gonna move on to the second pick. Second pick, Detroit took Aiden Hutchinson, defensive end, out of Michigan. What are your comments on this?
Oh yeah, this one I know who Aiden is. I seen there was also another video on the internet where I saw that he absolutely like bull rushed a offensive lineman from I forgot what college team. I believe it was Ohio State, or I may be wrong, but he just bull rushed like an offensive lineman. I think it was a right tackle, and wow, he just put him on his ass. Honestly, like it was crazy.
He pancaked him.
Yeah, he pancaked them bad. So I think for the Lions, I think this draft was a good move right here. I feel like grabbing a defensive edge rusher, because I feel like Detroit Lions do need defense. I think they need offense and defense, but I think picking this, because he was probably the best edge rusher in my opinion out of the draft. I don't know if most people agree, but I feel like this is a good pick.
Most people do. It was most analysts and experts had him as the best pass rusher.
Yeah, he's gonna be pretty tough and relentless, and because I feel like he's kind of productive, and because if he could pancake a offensive lineman like that, the way I saw, he's gonna be a pretty good player in the NFL.
I feel, man. Most of your sentiments I agree with. I also talk about how what really made Aiden like the first or like one of the best pass rushers supposedly with most draft experts is because of his motor. A lot of people are like degrade his skills as a pass rusher. Like they're saying, oh, he's not that fast coming off the line. He doesn't have much strength, but he has that motor. Well, like that football term, and most coaches and experts and GMs, they use the motor term. What it means that they just keep going after it. It's mostly for pass rushers that they just keep going after and after. It doesn't matter if they don't get any sacks. They just keep going after it. And he has that. I've seen that. Most people say he has that. And I think that's what got him to that pick. And I think it's going to be pretty good for Detroit. He's from Michigan. It just works out for them. So that was pretty good. I agree with that. Big surprise, though. This is like the first draft in I don't even know how much years that only one quarterback win the first round. And it was the Steelers who picked him at the 20th pick. Kenny Pickett. I didn't see much Kenny Pickett in Pittsburgh, to be honest. I mostly just heard his name when the draft started, and people were talking about him. The stuff that I have seen, he looks pretty good. He doesn't, and that's why he's not this first overall pick talent. Like 20th pick, I think is a pretty good spot for him. And then going to the Steelers, which he's already from Pittsburgh, that worked out. I think that's why the Steelers picked him, and they didn't say like how you were saying to me earlier, Jazael. Like most people were saying that they should have picked him. The Steelers should have picked Malik Willis, and instead they chose Pickett. I think it was just mostly because he's from Pittsburgh. Yeah, any comments about that?
I mean, yeah, I agree with that. I feel like I never knew he went to because I don't really know much about the quarterbacks in this draft, because I feel like this draft wasn't that intense or like had like a whole spotlight on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the Kenny Pickett pick is pretty good, and I feel like I never knew he went to Pittsburgh, but I feel like it's kind of an easy choice. Mike Tomlin was just like, you know what, let's just choose someone who's just around the corner. So I feel like for him to replace Big Ben, I feel like it could be, it might start off slow, but I feel like it could be a hole to fill in more years that come. But I don't really know much about Kenny Pickett, but I feel like he's gonna be a pretty good quarterback. I think. I hope so. Really.
I think the Steelers really just picked him. Like I said, like, hey, he's close, but also you're talking about Roethlisberger's about to leave. They need somebody. The only QBs they have on the roster is Trubisky and Rudolph. And I mean, let's be real, those guys are not going to take you to the Super Bowl. Maybe not even take you to the playoffs. Yeah. Maybe Trubisky, but that's why they chose Pickett. And he's going to give some competition into that quarterback room. And let's see how he does. 10th pick, the Jets got Garrett Wilson. And this one's, I highlighted this one because, yes, the Jets got Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson, he's a good receiver from Ohio State. He's not one of the best receivers in my opinion, but he's all right. But this pick is really highlighted because supposedly rumored that the Jets were going to give up this pick and the 26th for a trade for Deebo Samuel. Now, obviously, that didn't happen. But if it did happen, what would be your thoughts on that, Giselle?
Like on the trade, like if it was to happen, would
yeah.
Well, honestly, like I was telling you earlier, like in off the podcast, that I feel like the Niners shouldn't even like listen to like even trading any picks for Deebo. I feel like Deebo right now, like I was telling you, I feel like he's kind of entering his prime, or he's already in his prime. For them to get a receiver like with this pick, I feel like it's good for them. I don't really know much about Garrett Wilson. I apologize for not really knowing anything about the draft really. But it kind of wasn't a draft to where like I want to look into it because it's really not that interesting. Only some players were. But I feel like it was good for the Jets. But I feel like I don't even think Deebo is worth to even trade any picks as of right now, because the way he was playing last season, I don't think it's worth to even trade at all. I don't think the Niners should even like have some offers for him or anything like that. So I think my opinion is just like Deebo should stay and the Jets should just draft. That's my opinion.
All right, before I get into the Deebo thing, I'm going to say about the draft. I agree. That's 100% with the draft, dude. This year, to me, was the least anticipated draft ever. Like ever since I started watching football, it was like the least anticipated draft ever. It barely got any coverage last year for 2021. The NFL draft, it was 2 months from February, March, and April. It was covered the whole time. This year, only a week before the draft, it started getting some traction. It was like the least anticipated draft ever. I think it's most because a lot of experts don't think there's a lot of talent coming out from this draft. And like we talked about the quarterbacks, one only quarterback got selected. So I think that's one of that. And then back to the Debo thing. I'm happy we didn't trade him, obviously, because we need him. But it goes all back to the money. It goes all back to the money, bro. Like, I don't think the Niners want to trade him, but they don't want to give him a big contract or a huge one. And he obviously wants it. But I don't know. I guess they didn't. The Niners didn't trade him because they don't want to. But Debo still wants to leave because they probably hasn't found that agreement number yet. And I'm very torn on this. So as a Niner fan, I have no idea what's going on. I'm very lost, very scared, very concerned. I have no idea.
Yeah. Like I was telling you, like I feel like the Niners, like as for all the Niners fans, I feel like everybody could agree with how you're feeling. But I feel like as a Raiders fan, I don't feel like he should even like trade him like at all. It's kind of like it goes back to like how I wanted to connect it to like the Khalil Mack trade for us, like when Gruden like traded Khalil Mack to the Bears for some picks and for like for some money too. But I feel like overall, I feel like long term we won that trade, and I'm pretty sure like a lot of Raider fans could agree because the way that we drafted with, I think we got Josh Jacobs, Hunter Renfrow. I think we got them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was worth it. So I feel like for all the Niners fans, I don't think you should worry because I don't feel like they will let go of Debo because Debo could be a receiver. He could be a running back. He could be a blocker. Like he could be everything. So I feel like
basically our whole offense.
Yeah. So I feel like when it comes to money, I feel like he does deserve it to a point. But I feel like I don't think he should ask for too much. But I hope it works out. That's kind of what all you can do. Just hope it works out.
Mm-hmm. But that was mostly the end for the draft. The draft, like we're talking about, wasn't the most anticipated one ever. So we just got on a few details on the picks and the trades. But speaking about the money, you're talking about Debo. Let's talk about two guys who inflated the market so high for the wide receivers. Your boy, Davante Adams, this offseason got traded to the Raiders, and the Raiders gave up for him a first round and a second round for the 2022 draft. They gave him a 5-year, $141.25 million contract, $28.5 a year. What do you think about this, man? You're the Raider fan. Go first. What was your opinion on this?
Well, to start off, I just want to say let's fucking go. Let's go. I could already I could just feel like when we made this trade, I literally called it too. After they came out with like some like insider said that like, oh, Davante Adams purchased a home in Las Vegas next to Carr. I was like, you know what? There's no way Adams could purchase a home in Las Vegas to not go to the Raiders. I was like, you know what? He's gonna come to the Raiders. And then after 2 months, the Raiders went for it and they got Davante Adams. So I feel like with all Raider Nation, I hope we do good with him. And I hope Carr could throw him some dimes, but I think he was worth the first and second round pick because we already know the Raiders really are very interesting when it comes to first round picks. Everybody kind of shits on them because they do some like weird or interesting picks, especially with us drafting Farrell in the 4th overall, and I think it was the 2020 draft. So that was kind of like a shocker, but I feel like he was worth. Davante Adams is definitely going to be a person who's going to fill that hole for the receiver corps after Henry Ruggs accident happened. So I feel like with him, we have a good offensive firepower with Carr, Waller. We have Hunter Renfrow and Adams now. So I feel like the Raiders could be even playoff contenders like how they were last year, but they could go in deeper. So yeah, I think the Raiders, they did a whole home run right here with getting Davante Adams, and I'm happy for all Raider Nation and for the Raiders in general too. So
Well, I can't really top that from a Raiders fan, but as a not a neutral, as an NFL fan, all right, I'm not speaking for Niner fans. This is an NFL fan. I think this trade boosts the Raiders. All right, I do think it boosts you guys. I think that does put you. You guys were playoff. You guys were in the playoffs last year, so you guys were a playoff team. I think this makes you not towards contention, but it does make your team better because now Derek Carr gets his best friend Davante Adams. I think that's going to make him a better quarterback. You know, your fan base and most people, they criticize him a lot. You and me have had conversations often. We're talking about how we think Derek Carr gets overly criticized because we don't see him as a top 10 quarterback, and a lot of people try to see him like that, or try to make him as that, and we don't. So we actually think he's good. He's better than most quarterbacks, and I think this will actually put him a little bit higher because now he has a better receiver. So I mean, that's pretty good. The contract though is very high, and that's affected every receiver now. Every receiver wants like $20 million. So thanks a lot, Raiders. You kind of ruined our lives.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna say this, but I feel like Davante Adams in general, like he deserves that contract. I feel like it was 141 is kind of a lot. I feel like he should have been around, like, 90 mil or 80 mil. But I feel like for him to even come over here to the Raiders and to not and be like, oh, I'm gonna choose Carr over Aaron Rodgers, which is kind of tough to make because we already know that Aaron Rodgers is better than Derek Carr. But yeah, I feel like it is a lot of money, but I feel like he deserves it though. I feel like Davante Adams is still in his prime. He could cook any cornerbacks. I feel like he's gonna help us.
Oh, no doubt. He's probably the best receiver in the game, and you guys just got him for a first and a second round pick. Who you guys maybe, like you said, the Raiders' history, you guys don't even know who would have drafted. Probably drafted a bust, but now you got Davante Adams for that pick. It was good by the Raiders. That was good by them.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, this contract or this trade led to Tyreek Hill, who's seen Davante Adams' contract and was like, I want something like that too. And he got a trade request, and he was sent to the Dolphins, and the Chiefs got a 2022 first round pick, a 2022 second round pick, a 2022 fourth round pick, a 2023 fourth round pick, a 2023 sixth round pick. That's a lot of picks. And the Dolphins also gave him a 4-year, $120 million extension, which is about $30 million a year, right? About $30 million a year, with $72 million in guarantees. Another high inflation market for the receivers, man. What do you think about this move for both teams, the Chiefs and the Dolphins?
Well, starting off with the Chiefs, like this just a wow. Like the amount of picks they got. I don't know. I think you named like 8 or 7.
I named, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks.
Oh, it's 5 picks, and then I just went overboard. I feel like for the Chiefs, like wow, that's so many picks. Oh my god! For the Chiefs, I feel like this was kind of a shocker to me because I feel like Tyreek Hill and Kelsey, like they carried that Chiefs offense along with Patrick Mahomes. From a Raiders perspective, just real quick, like let's go, because then that means the Raiders just have a more chance to be number 1 in division, alongside the stupid Chargers. But for the Chiefs, I feel like the picks are going to be pretty good for them because they could draft like a whole new team of just young people. Because I feel like that could just help Patrick Mahomes, be like, oh, you could do this, you could do that, and then having Kelsey alongside with them could just help them, on how to beat teams and what to do in these situations. So I think it's going to be good for them. And I feel like it kind of was a little bit shocker to me because I don't feel like Tyreek Hill was, I don't know, I guess they just didn't want to pay him. That kind of was weird to me because he's literally like the fastest receiver in the NFL. So I don't know why they let him go. For the Dolphins though, I think this is good. It just gives another whole aspect of like, oh, Dolphins could do pretty good. Because I feel like Dolphins were all right. They weren't like too scary though. But adding Tyreek Hill is just gonna help them like do much better. It's just a lot of people are making fun of Tyreek Hill because Tyreek Hill goes from a quarterback from Mahomes to Tua, and Tua is nothing compared to Patrick Mahomes. So like I feel like Tyreek Hill is gonna get kind of kind of mad when it comes to Tua throwing him the ball because Tua, I don't think he's like a super good quarterback. He's all right. He's average. So I hope it works out for Tyreek Hill because I think the Dolphins did give up a lot, but they did get a pretty good player in exchange. So I think it's good on both sides, but I feel like it's better on the Chiefs side, in my opinion, even though I'm a Raiders fan.
I see. I feel you. But I'm gonna start off with the Chiefs' perspective, and you brought up the money part. I think that's specifically why the Chiefs traded him. They don't think they had any problem with him. They didn't have any problem in the offense. The problem was the money. The Chiefs didn't want to give him that $30 million a year contract, and the Chiefs don't negotiate like that. And then you think about it, why would they give him that contract? You got Patrick Mahomes and you got Travis Kelce. Do you really need to give a receiver that much money? Now, Tyreek's probably one of the best receivers in the NFL. I get it. And I'm not saying you could find another Tyreek Hill, but you could find another speedster. And I think that's what Andy Reid was looking at. We could just find another guy who's fast and we could fit him in. With Patrick Mahomes, we could make any receiver good. And I think that's their thinking. You feel me?
Yeah, I agree with that. I just feel like with Tyreek Hill, I feel like every time I feel like there was some cons and pros to Tyreek Hill now. Like the cons, I feel like teams are slowly starting to figure out how the Chiefs run an offense with Tyreek Hill. But then the pros, I feel like Tyreek Hill, no matter what a team does, I feel like he still always gets open one way or another. So I think, I don't know, I feel like with the Chiefs, yeah, I agree with them because I feel like with Patrick Mahomes, any receiver could be good with him because the way he throws the ball is outstanding. So
yeah, so I agree with the Chiefs on that perspective. But then with the Dolphins' point of view, I think Tyreek Hill is going to miss the Chiefs more than the Chiefs are going to miss him. And like you brought up about Tua, Tyreek's going to have problems with Tua. Tua can't throw the ball. And Tua's my boy. Okay, I'm an Alabama fan. He can't throw the ball past 20 yards, dude. He's not a deep thrower. And what does Tyreek Hill do? He just likes deep throw. Just deep balls all the way down the field. So, it's going to be a problem. I think Tyreek, right now, he's happy because he's in Miami and he's got this big contract. But then when he starts to play, he's going to be, where's Mahomes, man? I miss Mahomes throwing me with his 50-yard passes. And I kind of think the Dolphins gave up a lot. They gave up a lot of money and they gave up a lot of picks for him. So let's see what happens. But I think the Chiefs won this, in my opinion. Chiefs won it. Did you think the Chiefs win it or the Dolphins won the trade?
Yeah, like I said in my response, I feel like on the Chiefs side, I think they won. They just the amount of picks they got, 5 and then money too. I think they won it too because they could get so many receivers. They could just build a whole new team because the way Andy Reid coaches, it's crazy.
A lot of picks, bro. They could get a lot of receivers. Yeah. Man, that's them 2 contracts, big problem for us right now. That's why the Debo situation's happening. Because Debo looks at those 2 contracts and he's probably telling John Lynch, our general manager, he's telling him, I'm 80% of the offense. Are they 80% of the offense? No. And you're giving him that contract? What about me? And the Niners don't want to give him that contract because that's a big contract for a wide receiver. You're going to take half the cap space. So that's why the problem is right now. I blame the Raiders, I blame you, and I blame the Dolphins for causing this mess over here, man. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. Let's switch on to the quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson got traded in the offseason to the Browns. And in exchange, the Texans will receive 3 first-round picks, which is a 2022, a 2023, and a 2024. In addition to a 2023 third-rounder and a 2024 fourth-rounder. And then Watson will also receive from Cleveland a 5-year, fully guaranteed $230 million contract from the Browns. As part of the deal, the quarterback is also going to receive a $45 million signing bonus, and his salary for the 2022 season is going to be $1 million. Huge contract. What do you think, Jazael?
God, I just reading those numbers just blew my mind. It was 230, right? Correct? 230 million.
Yeah.
God, that's more than Adams too. Crazy.
Oh, that's way more than that.
Yeah, that's literally like for a contract like that, especially for a Deshaun Watson coming out of like allegations with all that raping stuff. Even though, like, I feel like it could have been fake. I don't know really. I don't really want to speak on that, but like with a player like that and then having all those allegations of like, I don't know, like many women, I feel like that's kind of.
I don't want to cut you off, but like that's why it says I think it's an historic contract, and this contract in the NFL because they gave him a fully guaranteed contract, while he's still in this situation.
Exactly. That's crazy. I really don't have any word. I just feel like that's good for the Browns and for Watson because he's getting all that money. But I feel like I don't know. I feel like the Browns, they went balls deep, like bad.
Oh yeah.
I hope it doesn't backfire on them when it comes to like what happens with the allegations in the case with Watson. But I don't know. That's just my opinion, really.
Well, I mean, I gotta commend the Browns for going full on in, bro. Like they do not care. They're like, we want a better quarterback, and we're gonna talk about Baker in a little bit. But they said we want a better quarterback, and we're gonna get Watson. And I mean, Watson, I wanted him on the Niners. Y'all know that. I was big on him going to a bit advocate in him going to the Niners. He never went. He's going to the Browns. It's big into like I'm talking about the contract. Fully guaranteed. This is the first time that any NFL player gets a fully guaranteed contract at those extremities. That was just crazy numbers. And I think he's actually going to do great for Cleveland. Like this is going to put Cleveland in contention. So I don't think it's a bad signing at all. You give up everything. You give like, you know how they say the farm. You give up everything to get an elite. I think he's an elite quarterback. You give up everything to get one of them. So I ain't even going against the Browns. And then the Texans got 3 first rounds. So let's see what they do with those picks. I think I'm going with this trade. I think it's good. But like you said, it could backfire on them for the court. But I don't think it will do a lot because Watson already got there's already been 2 grand juries that have let him go that say that we don't want to testify or trial him. So it's not that big of a deal anymore. But the NFL might suspend him, but I don't think they'll suspend him for a large amount of time, probably just like a few games, and then he'll be back on track. So I don't really think it's that much of a risk for the Browns as other teams are saying. You feel me?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people forget that Deshaun Watson, like how you were saying, he's an elite quarterback. I feel like a lot of people forget that he's pretty good. And I do kind of hate him a little bit because he did trash on us when he was in the Texans. He trashed the Raiders hella bad. But I feel like he is an elite quarterback because like he could run, he could have he literally has pocket awareness like Russell Wilson. He could throw the ball pretty good, and he does like some good running plays like Patrick Mahomes. So I feel like he literally has like all the traits that like most of the elite quarterbacks do. So I feel like he is good. I feel like the Browns, they did go for Watson because like he's an elite quarterback, but also I feel like they went for him because with this contract that's guaranteed, just because I feel like the Browns, like they probably do have like a little insider person giving them like information about like, oh yeah, this case is not going to go further. They're like,
no doubt.
So I'm pretty sure if they went with this like balls deep contract, I feel like they already know like, oh yeah, Watson's going to be free. Might as well just go for him. You know?
Yeah, no doubt. I think that's why they went for it, but there's a lot of rumor now that the owner for the Browns is Jimmy Haslam. A lot of people are saying the NFL owners are kind of getting resentment towards him because this historic contract like we're talking about, no player has ever gone that. This is going to affect the market like how Davante Adams and now Tyreek affect the wide receiver market. This is going to affect the QB market. Now Joe Burrow, Lamar, Justin Herbert, they're going to look at this contract and be like, I want that too. So it's going to be a whole mess next offseason, bro. Mess. How much do you think Joe Burrow's going to ask for, dude? And Watson never been to the Super Bowl. I think he's only won 1 playoff game. Joe Burrow went to the Super Bowl. How much do you think he's going to ask for?
I have no idea. I think it could be even I mean, it could even be close to Aaron Rodgers' contract too, honestly. Because Joe Burrow, it was his second year in the Bengals, and he made it to the Super Bowl.
To the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So like, how much do you think he's gonna ask for? A ton. He's gonna ask something similar or more. So it's gonna cause some craziness, man, chaos. But it's gonna be good. But like we were talking about, obviously this trade led to Baker having supposedly he's on the Browns still, but he's not playing, and he hasn't found the team yet. No trade. They haven't released him. What do you think's gonna happen to Baker?
On Instagram, I actually saw that Baker Mayfield came out with his own personal message of like where his mind is and where he stands with the Browns. I didn't really like read it all, but he said that for right now, I think I didn't really read it, but I think I heard that he was probably just gonna like kind of like wherever life takes him. I guess that's kind of I think what I read. But I feel like I think the Browns, what they're gonna do is they might put him back a quarterback, or they could even trade him for like some money just so they could get back the money or the picks that they got from Watson. So I think after getting Watson, I think Baker could become a backup quarterback. But I'm kind of leaning more towards the side of the Browns actually trading Baker Mayfield, because I think Baker Mayfield, like, he has a Brown squad that's pretty good. Like Chubbs, you have like you had Odell, but I guess they traded him too. But he has like some good receivers. You have probably the best running back, or one of the best running backs. Yeah, you have a good offensive line, like, and then you can't do shit, and then you're getting like. I think the Browns have a good coach for once, and you're kind of getting like not even close to the playoffs at all. You were literally they were last in their division with the Ravens, Steelers, and Bengals. So I don't feel like the Browns, they kind of did need to fire this contract towards Deshaun Watson, but I feel like Baker Mayfield, in my opinion, I feel like he did kind of choke with the squad that he was given. So. I don't know. I think he's probably gonna get traded. In my opinion, that's where I stand.
I don't think he's gonna get traded. I think the Browns are just gonna get so desperate because everybody knows since the trade, every team knows that they don't want Baker anymore. So why would they trade for him? So I think that no one's gonna trade for him. No team's gonna offer him something. So then the Browns are just gonna get desperate and they're just gonna release him. And then when they release him, I have no idea where he's going. He's probably either going to go to Carolina. I think the suitors or the rumors teams are Carolina and Seattle. I think it's going to be one of those two. And he's going to show why he's not on a team right now. Because to me, Baker has never been that guy. I don't think he should have been the number one pick, to be honest. I think he was like, okay. He's an okay. I'm not saying, I don't think he's going to be a backup because he's better to be a starter for like the Texans or something. Like he's good enough to be that. But to be a superstar, no. To be a first overall pick, no. Baker, I've always seen him as a mid player. And like you brought up about the Odell trade. A lot of people put blame on that connection that it was Odell's fault. And it was Baker's fault. That was actually an indictment on Baker. You have one of the best. I'm not really a big fan of OBJ, but he is one of the best receivers. You have one of the best receivers and you can't connect with him. That's your deal. That's your problem because you're the quarterback. You're the one that has to get on page with them, not him with you. You feel me? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people like they have to agree with the OBJ being one of the best one of the best receivers in the game because like how we all saw in the Super Bowl, he did do some amazing catches, but God, like that kind of really sucked when I think OBJ got injured, and I really wanted him to ball out, but. Yeah, Baker Mayfield did kind of like, I guess his ego. I would say Baker Mayfield, his ego really got to him when it came to him and the OBJ situation. So, because I always liked OBJ. Like after he was in the Giants, I feel like in the Giants he was underrated. I feel like a lot of people didn't really like kind of shine him, but he was pretty for like I think for 1 year when he made that like incredible catch. I feel like that's when they said, "Oh, he's hella good." But I think like more as more years passed. Like they kind of started like saying like, oh, he's not that good anymore and this and that. So
like I don't really like OBJ as a person. I never met him, but like what he comes off as sometimes when I see him on his social media and whatever, he's not really my type of guy I'd root for. but that doesn't blind me from his on the field. And on the field, he's one of the best receivers, and that's why I'm gonna put blame on Baker, man. Because how can you not get him? How can you not just get on the same page as him? Like, that's your fault, dude. You're the quarterback. You gotta assert that yourself. But let's see what happens. Let's see where he goes. Where do you think he's gonna end up? Or you don't know?
Who, Baker?
Yeah. I said either Seattle or Carolina. Where do you think he's gonna end up?
Well, I'm just gonna go off from your two picks. I think he's gonna go mostly towards the Panthers. Unless Seattle actually does be like, oh yeah, we see some shine in Baker Mayfield. But I think Pete Carroll is too smart to get Baker Mayfield because Baker Mayfield sucks and Pete Carroll is a pretty good coach. Sometimes Pete Carroll does do some stupid decisions, but overall he's a good coach. But I feel like he might go to the Panthers because I think they do need a quarterback. I think they did trade. They didn't trade, but I think Sam Darnold, he's not that good. He did shine for 4 or 5 games, and then he kind of sucked.
Yeah, then he went down because McCaffrey got injured. But yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like he's gonna go to the Carolina Panthers.
The last big trade, not the last one, but the last one we're going to talk about, big trade that happened was Russell Wilson to the Broncos. The Broncos traded Drew Lock, Noah Fant, Shelby Harris, 2 first-round picks, was a 2022 and a 2023, 2 second-round picks, which is 2022 and 2023, and a 2022 fifth-round selection to the Seahawks, in which the Broncos got Wilson in return, and a 2022 fourth-round pick. What do you think about this trade as a Raider fan?
Well, as a Raider fan?
Or both, as an NFL fan and a Raider fan.
Oh, yeah. As an NFL fan, I feel like it's good for the Broncos. I feel like they do need a quarterback because they sucked ass for a lot of times after Peyton Manning left. But I feel like for the Broncos, it's good because, dude, you have Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is a Super Bowl champion. He's a
elite quarterback.
Yeah, I think he's an elite quarterback. He's literally he has pocket awareness. He's literally a Madden, when they have that Trey escape artist, because he can literally escape from little holes. He's good when it comes to actually doing he extends the plays. That's what I like quarterback. He extends the plays. He has a pretty good arm. I feel like Russell Wilson still has a pretty good arm, even though he's getting slightly older. But I feel like he's getting pretty. I think he's getting pretty old, but I still feel like he has the arm, like I said. For the Broncos, I feel like that's good for Jerry Jeudy and the whole receiver core. But the Broncos did get up a lot, but I feel like kind of was worth it. Even though that's a lot of picks too. I think that's 4, right? 2, yeah. I think it was 4 or 5. But I feel like
4.
Overall, it's pretty good for the Broncos as an NFL perspective. But as a Raiders perspective, oh my God, that just makes the AFC West even harder. Literally, we have Carr, we have Herbert, we have Mahomes, and now we have Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson was from the NFC, he was from the from the NFC. So now him coming to the AFC, oh my God, there's so much good quarterbacks in the AFC. God, I don't know. As a Raider fan, when I saw that trade happen, I was like, damn, that kind of sucks.
Let me name the quarterbacks. You got Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Derek Carr. Those are the 4 quarterbacks.
Yeah. So honestly, I'm still gonna go with Derek Carr. I really hope. I feel like Russell Wilson in his first year, he's not really gonna do. He's probably gonna do pretty good because he's Russell Wilson, but I don't feel like they're gonna go far because I feel like for him to come to the Broncos, team, I feel like he still needs to set in. I feel like he still needs to adapt to how they run the system. But I think he's gonna make them better. I feel like with him and the coach and the receivers and how to connect, how to do plays, how to do this, how to do tricks, and do this and do that, and outplay opponents. I feel like it's gonna help him overall. But I feel like as a Raiders fan, I don't know. Let's just see how it goes. Let's just see how it goes. That's all I can say.
As a Niner fan, thank God he's out of my division. Thank God. This man tortured us for years, bro. Thank God. Get him out of here. Go torture them. Go torture the Raiders, bro, not us. Thank God he's out of here. That's from a Niner fan. From an NFL fan perspective, I agree with actually kind of everything you said about him. Russ going to the Broncos and how obviously he's an elite quarterback. He's got that pocket awareness. He can escape, mobility, blah, blah. You know, we got all that. And he's pretty short, but he still can like just passes a great deep ball. Probably the best deep ball through the NFL. Also, like I also agree with you on the Broncos. I don't think they they gave up like 4 picks, but again, it's for a quarterback. If you have these picks, you give them up for a quarterback, bro, because you cannot find a good quarterback in the NFL like that. We cannot find, no, they don't grow on trees. Okay, it's hard. It's very rigorous to find one, bro. So I think it's a great move for the Broncos. The Seahawks, that means they're in real building mode. And that's great for us. That's great for the Niners. One team we don't have to worry about in our division. But the Broncos, I think this puts them in contenders. And we're about to talk about the AFC West, bro. Your division is stacked. I have no idea who's gonna win. Actually, I'll probably lean towards the Chiefs a little bit because we've seen them win year after year, and obviously you're gonna lean towards the Raiders because it's your team. But if you weren't a Raiders fan, who were you leaning towards to?
If I wasn't a Raiders fan, honestly, I would lean towards still the Raiders. But then I still have the Chargers. I feel like I don't feel like the Chiefs. I feel like the Chiefs are gonna not really do that well next season.
Oh, well, I mean, I get you with the Chargers perspective because I also think the Chargers are going to be better, but their history is that they choke a lot. Even though they got Justin Herbert, I believe in him, but their history is that they're chokers.
Yeah, but I still feel like just for like a perspective, like just an unbiased perspective, I still feel like the Raiders still have a good chance. If the Chargers don't choke, I feel like they could take the division easily. Just the amount of trades they have. They already have Khalil Mack and all that and all this. But I feel like the Chargers just could outplay the Chiefs unless Patrick Mahomes does Patrick Mahomes things and Kelsey does Kelsey things.
Yeah.
But still, I feel like we have a good chance. I think the only teams that I feel like that could come out first place could be the Raiders and Chargers. Those are my 2 predictions that we could come out. Unless the Chiefs just absolutely say, you know what, let's play hard and do this and do that, and then just come out with new plays and a new playbook from Andy Reid's hand and see where it goes. But I feel like the Raiders could have a good chance. I really hope so.
Well, I mean, I think the Raiders do have a chance. Like I told you about the Adams trade, I think the trade gives you guys, it makes you guys better. So I think it's gonna be good for the Raiders. And I don't know. I'm excited to see this division, man. It's gonna be competitive. I have no idea who's gonna win. It's gonna be very intriguing to watch. But also for like the Broncos thing, I forgot to bring this up. I think the Russ going to the Broncos. You brought up Jerry Jeudy. I'm gonna bring up Courtland Sutton. A lot of names probably the NFL people don't really know. I've seen Courtland Sutton play. That boy got some cojones, man. That boy can play. He's big. He got hands. He's pretty big. He's pretty fast for a big guy. With Russell's about it. He plays similar to DK Metcalf. So I think Russell's gonna love him, and he's gonna make him a big time wide receiver. Because with Drew Lock, I mean, we're not gonna be harsh on him, but he's not a good quarterback, bro. Let's just bring out the way. So Courtland Sutton didn't show his full potential. With Russell Wilson, I think Courtland Sutton's gonna become a household wide receiver name, bro. Watch. It's gonna happen. I'm telling you, bro. It's gonna happen. All right, guy. I mean, anything else you want to add to that?
Honestly, I'm just gonna add as a bold statement. I'm just gonna say that all I wish is the AFC West to have good matchups, and I hope everyone enjoys it, especially Raider Nation and everybody that wants. Because I've seen a lot of people say oh, they just have after all those trades that the AFC West did, everybody just wants to see oh yeah, just put AFC West matchups every Thursday or every Monday or every this and that whenever there's really not that much football games, because everybody knows that this division is going to have the best games because there's a lot of good quarterbacks and a lot of good players inside the division. So I'm just going to end it off on let's just see where this division goes and how the AFC West plays out next season.
100% agree. let's see what's gonna happen, man. Giselle, thanks for doing this episode. Pretty long episode, but hey, man, it's football, so I appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one. Deuces.
Later.